At the end. Yeah. Yeah. We can have them start signing at the end. Correct.
So they can do it.
Yes. All right, folks, we're about to start the meeting. If you could please have a chatter down for right now. If you don't mind, we do have a sign-in sheet at the back, so if you haven't signed in yet, if you could please sign in quietly, and we will now start the meeting here for the active recreation group, okay? Everyone excited? We usually have this many people at our park and rec meeting, so we're used to this stuff. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Needham Park and Recreation meeting agenda for the active recreation for the feasibility study. My name is Chris Gerstle. I am the current chairman of the Park and Rec Commission. Along my side tonight, I have my fellow commissioners of Michelle Geddes, Cindy Chaston, and we do have a latecomer, Dina Hannigan, that will be here in a few minutes. We do have a fifth member, James Rosenbaum, but he is unable to attend tonight, but we have spoken to him about this project and we are aware of all the questions, and as a group, we all feel confident that we are all on the same page. We also have our director of Park and Rec, Stacy Mulroy, here, and our assistant director, Hannah Corrigan. I just kind of want to go over the flow of the meeting tonight and kind of manage everybody's expectations. We do have Mike Moonen from CHA. What he will do is he will go through the slide and presentation very briefly and kind of hit on some of the key points. So everyone kind of take a look at them. They are out online, but he will definitely go through those slides tonight. In regards to the flow of the meeting, I do ask that all questions wait until the end of the presentation. For those of you who are also familiar with how meetings go, this is an open discussion. There will be questions and comments that people will have tonight. I will be honest, a lot of these questions probably will not be answered tonight, not just because we don't want to answer them. It's just we want to do our due diligence and get the correct answers back to you. Because there are probably going to be some ideas that we haven't thought about yet that we want to do our due diligence, as I mentioned, and look into them. So please don't be offended if we don't have the answer for you tonight. I just want to kind of manage everyone's expectations. In regards to public comments, if we can kind of keep our comments to kind of 2 or 3 minutes, that would be great, because we do have a full room tonight, so we want to respect everyone and hear their wishes. One of the other things, and I don't want this to sound rude, we don't need to hear the same comments over and over and over again. With the whole, hey, this is a great idea. Love hearing that. Don't need to hear it 10 times, because we want to be able to get to everyone that's here in the room and definitely speak their mind and be able to have that comments on there. So with that being said, Stacy, anything you'd like to add?
No, just make sure that everybody signs in, and if you need a chair to sit, feel free to grab one. There's plenty of chairs in the back.
Also, one thing, when we do go to the public comments of the portion, if you could please identify your name and your street address, just so we can get it on record, that would be greatly appreciated. So now I will hand the presentation over to Mike, that he will go through the presentation for the active recreation group. So Mike, floor is yours.
Oh, there we go. All right, no, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Stacy. So again, we're very excited to be here tonight. It's a very exciting project, and this is the type of thing we love to do. We love to help communities with these type of projects. We have on the line Asa Beckham. He's from American Ramp Company. They are our action sports park consultant and specialist, so he will be providing some of the information tonight also.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Can everybody hear me all good?
We can hear you, Lisa.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, so just a quick agenda for the presentation tonight. We're gonna have a brief introduction, just about our firms and a little bit about Action Sports Park and pickleball courts. I'm gonna just briefly go over the recent trends. Go over our plan development, and then the applications of the courts. We'll go over our site review that we did. We reviewed a few sites for the project. And then we'll go over the selected proposed locations. And then other considerations that we'll be making in the future. Right now, this is just a kind of a location planning study. So after we select a location and move forward with that, we'll go forward with a lot more of the details of the site. So what you're just seeing tonight is what would fit and why, pretty much. So CHA, basically, we're a national firm, mainly up and down the East Coast, but we have a dedicated 30-person recreation group. And this is all we do, is parks and recreation design, and it's what we love to do. So, oh, sorry. Okay.
Do you want to stand up and I'll work the computer for you if that
Oh.
helps?
Yeah,
It's up to you.
okay. Oh, I need to kind of.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine.
So no, it's okay. I'll just speak a little louder. So yeah, we're just basically, we're a dedicated sports group and, we work on sports and recreation projects, parks and recreation projects. And then, Lisa?
Yeah. Yeah,
Use the microphone.
We're working on getting a microphone. We don't have one yet. We're gonna see if we can get it. Be standing too far, away, it won't pick it up. So it's that's okay. Go ahead, Asa.
yeah, and yeah, thank you, Mike, and thank you everyone for coming out tonight. Yeah, so my name is Asa Beckham with American Ramp Company, and ARC. We are a action sports design, consultation, and construction firm. We specialize in designing and building municipal skate parks, bike parks, pump tracks, bicycle playgrounds, pretty much anything that has to do with skateboarding, mountain biking, BMXing, or other type of cycling sports. We've been in business for over 25 years, and we have projects in over 44 countries. We work with landscape architects or firms such as CHA all the time, just assisting and planning these projects just to ensure that everything goes as good as it possibly can.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the kind of action sports parks that we do design and build. So skate parks, that's kind of something that I think a lot of people are familiar with. If anybody is not, it's a area that's designed and constructed specifically for sports like skateboarding, BMX riding, scooter riding, rollerblading. Skate parks can vary a lot in the different types of themes and styles and elements within a park. And kind of what Mike had touched on there for a minute is that we will be going into kind of a more intense design process down the line. But yeah, so skate parks, they're really just dedicated for skateboarding and different types of wheeled sports like that. The other item that many people may not be as familiar with is pump tracks, although they are becoming very, very popular in the United States and on the East Coast. So if anybody's not familiar, a pump track is a series of hills, small rollers, and these big built up turns called berms, and they're linked together. So what you do is instead of pedaling through this track, what you do is you pump up and you pump down on either your bicycle or your skateboard, and you use your body movement to get through the whole kind of circuit. And what these are great for is, you know, sports like skateboarding can do them, BMX riding, mountain biking, pretty much anybody with a set of wheels. So they're just really great for municipal settings where people just want to get outdoors and really be able to have a dedicated space that is, for one, safe and designed to get outside and have some fun. So that's kind of the overall kind of, you know, view of skate parks and pump tracks. And then if you want to jump to the next slide, Mike. So one thing that we really specialize in and pioneered is, combining these two different types of amenities. So something that we do a lot and what we've proposed on a few of these concepts is doing both a skate park alongside a pump track. And again, to what I had said before, both of these can be ridden by anybody with a set of wheels. So whether you're on your skateboard, your BMX bike, your scooter, your rollerblade, what this really creates is a park for everybody. And it's not just going to be for skateboarders. This can be for anybody that's just wanting to get outside and have fun and kind of an action sports type of setting. One of the big benefits of creating these, what we call all-wheel type of facilities, is that they can be ridden by both. So you're going to be seeing people, skaters going on not only just the skate park, they'll be going to the pump track, and then BMX riders, scooter riders, everything like that will be transferring back and forth. So it creates a lot of opportunity to just have different types of riding and have a lot more fun. Pump tracks are also great alongside skate parks because they really help to break up the flow of traffic, because skate parks can get very congested, and creating a pump track alongside it will allow a lot of the younger riders to be able to go out and ride on the pump track and not really have too much traffic within one space. Another big advantage of this is just these are not really, something that you typically see in a lot of different communities. So you'll see this could be a very unique item to Needham that'll bring in people from the surrounding areas to come and check out these projects. But yeah, it just creates a space that we're just trying to create something that's going to be for the highest amount of people and have the most amount of enjoyment. So that's just kind of the big overview on everything. And then, yeah, I think I'll kick it back over to Mike. Or sorry, I have one more slide. Apologies. So yeah, and just to speak on kind of the popularity of skateboarding, after the pandemic in 2020, skateboarding saw a meteoric rise, and today there's nearly 9 million skaters in the United States. So it's a very, very popular amenity, and we worked with lots of different communities across the United States, especially on the East Coast, and not only building skate parks, but just building action sports parks all around. So they're very, very popular and well-attended facilities.
All right, and then pickleball. Pickleball was actually invented in like 1965, but it just recently got really popular. In about 2005, they started USA Pickleball, and they basically oversee the sport in the United States, and they promote and develop the growth of pickleball. So we use a lot of their, they develop the design manuals and standards and things like that. So we use a lot of their information when locating and designing pickleball courts. And again, pickleball also has kind of skyrocketed over the last few years. It's probably gone up more since this slide. But, again, the pandemic has also increased pickleball play in the United States. So then, starting the study, we took a look at 4 different sites, Mills Field, Cricket Field, Hillside School Field, and then Claxton Field. We visited the sites with the town staff, and we took a look at all the parameters at each site and the available spaces. So the things that we were considering when we were looking at the sites, you can see on the left is a map showing the location of the different fields. So the considerations were just an overall existing conditions analysis, the location in town, accessibility. Does it already have ADA access, or can it have ADA access, and then also general access to the site? Noise concerns. Where is the site located in town? How close to the abutters, and so forth. Then the potential conversion and the ease of implementation, especially of the available area. And then we also looked at other amenities in the park that are already there, and the things that we can't replace. And then consider the surface, subsurface conditions, the sight lines. Can you see into the park so that you can see the courts from the streets? Other existing available amenities, bathrooms, parking, shade shelters, and so forth. And then the utilities available, and then, the availability or need for, additional parking. That was, another consideration. And then the potential for added needed infrastructure. So then again, with pickleball and the skate park, noise is a concern. But you can see that pickleball, from a noise standpoint, it sits there right between tennis and a noisy restaurant. So when pickleball is being played, it's about 60 to 70 dBA. But a target dBA for activity in parks and to not, disturb neighbors as little as possible is about 50 to 60 dBA. So basically you can take into consideration the distance of the courts from the abutters. And you can see at about 100 feet away from the courts, it's at 70 dBA, which can be pretty annoying noise. So your target distance is about 200 to 400 feet away from any abutters. Or other activities, even a school or a business and so forth. So then, what can be done? One of the best things you can do is try to locate it, in the center of the park and just get the pickleball courts as far away as possible from any abutters and so forth. But then you can get into other things as walls, barriers. They have these screens that you can put up on the fencing that are noise barriers. And so forth. So then, sorry, having this cricket field. So cricket field we looked at, and I'm not going to go over every detail of the pros and cons, or we'll be here all night on all these sites. But the biggest downside, the benefit to cricket field was that it has a good location in town and it is in the neighborhood, but that's also a downside. It's very close to all the abutters, the available space that we could put in anything, Action Sports Park, pickleball courts, was just land that was very difficult to work with. And then it also was a very active site. And then also parking is already limited there, and there really weren't any opportunities to expand parking at cricket field. Now the other one is Claxon Field. This one, from a location standpoint, I think the only downside is that it's a little remote location in town. It's out there across from the transfer station. However, I think most people in town know where it is, but it has a lot of benefits because it has a good amount of available space. It has a good distance to abutters. And then it actually had 2 locations that were available for Action Sports Parks and pickleball courts. Then another one we looked at was Hillside School. It has a field down there in the back. This one, I guess one of its advantages is that it is in a good location in town. However, it's kind of difficult to access back in the back area of the school. And then 2 other bigger factors were that the area that is available for these facilities is known to flooding and wet conditions. And then also the town is not sure what the future plans for the Hillside building is. So it didn't end up being a very promising site. Then the other site is Mills Field. This had, a couple good locations for pickleball courts and Action Sports Park. It is close to abutters, and then also parking could be limited. So then, after this site analysis and meeting a few times with the committee, we ended up deciding to go forward with some concepts and further analysis of Mills Field and Claxton Field. So we took a look at this northern end of the park where there's, I think it's an abandoned basketball court. just north of the existing Little League field. And this concept shows 3 pickleball courts, the Action Sports Park with a pump track. And again, this is, we do have a butters close to this location, so that's one of the concerns. Then this shows Mills Field with just an Action Sports Park and no pickleball courts. And then we took a look at the site with more pickleball courts. This is 6 pickleball courts. And then still looking at putting in a pump track through the wooded area to the west of the pickleball courts. So then the next site, Claxon Field, we were looking at 2 different areas. This is an old quarry area to the east of the ball fields. And so that looks like a really good location for an Action Sports Park. The skate park area could be down in the middle, the pump track in the wooded area over here. And then also has the opportunity for another track that could go up and around the Action Sports Park and back down in this location. The advantage is that there's an already a sport pending there also. And there already is parking that could be expanded. And then on this other location, this is the former location of the playground that has already been removed. And this shows 8 pickleball courts in that location, and then expanded parking to accommodate the pickleball courts. So then other things we'll consider as we move forward after, a location is selected is, the fencing, what kind of fencing we're going to be putting around the facilities, how high, will we need windscreens, what sort of access will we need for construction vehicles, and then, we'll just make sure the plan complies with ADA and then all other relevant state and local requirements. Then, do you want spectator seating for players, waiting areas, lights for the walkway? We aren't considering putting lights on these courts. However, you might want to light the walkways and the parking areas for later in the day play. Then would we be adding picnic areas, shade shelters, and player areas? Do we need water, bottle filling stations? And then will we need any buffers, landscape areas? And then will we require any sound buffering if we're not far enough away from residents? So the next step, once we select a site, we'll do some further site investigation if needed. We'll prepare the final study report. Then we'll present the final findings. We'll present them and then help the town with the final decision to move forward with the project. And then after that, you begin the final design process, secure funding to construct the courts and the Action Sports Park. And I think that's all I have, Chris.
Great. Mike and Asa, thank you both for that, recap of the presentation. Really do appreciate that. Brought up some good points. Stacy or Hannah, anything you want to add before we open it up to public comment?
Just want to remind everybody, this is a feasibility study. It was a feasibility for possible locations, so we have no plans for real design or construction. That's the next step of this 3-phase process. So just keep that in mind when you are asking your questions.
All right, perfect. Who wants to go first?
This Q&A, Chris?
It's more of public comment. It's not really a question discussion. It's more of like a public comment of suggestions. As I mentioned, there are going to be a lot of questions that are asked tonight that we want to get to everyone's comments. So we will take down everyone's questions and we will get back to them. Because there are probably some questions we're going to have to do a little research in and we don't have the answer to tonight. So, all right. Front row, you win. Please, if you don't mind, you can come up, you can stand up, but just, okay. Again, anybody that
Come up
does
to
speak,
the table so that the microphone picks you up.
perfect.
Thank
And
you.
please state your name and your address.
You don't have to sit, but
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, Hi, my name is Julie Tracy and I live at 33 Beach Street, which is directly in front of the open space at Mills Field. I come here tonight fully appreciating the town's recognition of the need for more recreational spaces. I'm a former Needham youth soccer coach, I'm a former youth softball coach, and I'm currently a Needham touchdown club board member. So I've seen firsthand how access to recreational facilities is really important for families and enhances the town's atmosphere. In addition, my kids generally value the town's supportive recreation, as my daughters worked at summer camps and both my kids have participated in the park and rec through the years. So in short, it's speaking to somebody who cares a lot about public recreational facilities. However, when I heard that Mills Field was one of the proposed facilities, my heart sank. My house is actually, when one of the screens, one of the slides showed a square box, my house actually touches the point of one of the boxes. So that would kind of make it maybe impossible, but it's worth noting, my house is within that box. I'm not gonna get into the fact that the pickleball players, we appreciate them, I understand they love to play there. My family has never once complained of the 5:30 AM, you know, and ignoring the noise ordinances, you know, it's fine. Keep playing, we know what we did, we moved across the street from the tennis court, so all good there. But the one question I have, and I guess I would ask this for you and the recreation committee, and it's sort of a rhetorical question is, when exactly was the feasibility study for this proposal conducted? Was it during one of the nightly baseball games with dozens of spectators lining the infield and outfield? Was it during a Williamsport game where there are sometimes 100 spectators? Was it during any summer evening when kids are riding their bikes, playing basketball? It's people still play basketball there, that's worth noting. Is it when kids are getting the batting cages? Was it the parties that the pickleball players play while all of this is going on? Was it the 10 AM on a weekday when the A to B daycare brings their children down to the tot lot, which also was not mentioned that there is a tot lot on this facility? Or was it one of the many activities that are all happening simultaneously at Mills Fields? So I ask this because surely if you had visited during this time, you would have seen all of this activity and you would have put it in the cricket category of there is too much going on at Mills. So I ask you strongly reconsider Mills as a possible site for ad activity.
We will go first row again, and what we're also gonna do is we're gonna do 3 people live, and then we're gonna go to the online people, because we do have some people joining us by Zoom, so we'll do 3 people live, then 3 people on Zoom, and then we'll switch back and forth. So if you could please state your name and your address, that would be great.
My name is Victoria Doroshenko, and I live 19 Beach Street, just few houses from Chile. So, and probably it will be a few words here, but thank you for letting me speak. So as you mentioned, sport is important for every community and we are all for it. But please think about your neighbors when selecting this right location. So, we live in a tight middle class residential area. We live still directly in our farm backyard. Many of us have been here for 20-50 years. So far, we never complained about how very busy park. However, when I looked at the results of the feasibility study, one thing struck me most. In form for Mills Field, there was no bullet indicating that this was already heavily used mostly for science. And just to remind them, bullet what we have. Baseball field with games through spring and summer, tennis field with NHL, tennis team matches from March to June. And I know that personally, my daughter was the captain for the tennis NHL tennis team. So, and we also have local tennis players. Playground with additional daycare with some kids parties, basketball fields with kids and adults playing. On the green floor, there are sometimes permitted kids and adults going parties with farm, zoo animals, animators, and periodic with some business events. Last year, we even had some engineering companies testing their drones, which was fun. In summertime, there are people just sunbathing on the grass or having lunch. There are multiple dog walkers and sometimes with multiple dogs. Some of them unfortunately do not fit enough after they do. Parking area is very limited and the often see cars parked on adjacent streets. Visitors are not always left over and or keep and driving after themselves. And our neighbors actually usually take care of cleaning after these programs and other events. So our dogs and other dogs are not getting garbage. And before coming to the house in this area, so you know, let me say, we used to follow the above because tournaments were not that often and single of this event was short. And we enjoy our green park. And actually, I would like to say that this is a very unique park. Because I think this is the only park in Milan that has green wall with beautiful trees.
Okay.
So, then without any consideration for it, the state courts were occupied by pickleball players. We were sure, but had no idea what could be done because they had taken over a different board. Our daily sports one used by people with good sportsmanship manners have become a party ground. Instead of 8-10 players, we often had 32 people playing and about the same number or more waiting their turn. Players started coming from 15 and showed up in big numbers. They started bringing chairs, tables, food, music, parking everywhere, including the board. We hear all the noise, not just from their play, but also from their screens. The season of pickleball is not so difficult over most of the year. In our small community, there are a number of people working from home, including my husband and I, including Julie and her husband. There are healthcare workers coming after night shift that interest we can handle consequences with education, but to see that on top of what we are already quietly seeing, we can remain silent about the addition of new more policies in the focus assumption. Just because people need to drive extra few minutes doesn't make more sense to disturb people in the residential area. And so personally, I think that Watson feels in the presentation because I don't think there are evidence around. And my last point, our middle class neighborhood is modest compared to other independent prices in our retirement area. And we don't think it's fair to bring our house prices down by adding another notice program. Thank you.
Okay, great.
I'm Debbie Sarah, I live on Island Street, Edom, also live in town. So I just have a few questions and a few statements. One of them is, has there been a DBA of the sound of a pump track or a skateboard park?
Good question.
That's one of my questions. As far as convenience and driving is concerned, my sons play hockey, I drove all over the world. Okay, I have an issue with Mike Monahan's statement that we want to create the highest amount of people for the greatest amount of enjoyment. Bill's Field, we're packed. You guys should ride over there when there's a game going on up and down the side streets all around. I don't complain. I like to see the activity. Have we looked at any of the donated lands that has been given to the town as a possible site because it's big acreages? I don't think it's fair also to consider this at Mills Field because we don't know what's going to go on at Muzzy. We don't know what kind of traffic that's going to involve. Why don't we put it at Muzzy? You know what I mean? We bring it further down. How is the location going to be decided? That's another one of my questions. Cricket Field is just as dense as household holds as Mills Field, and we have to give you a listing of all the houses. And lastly, Mills Field floods. The trees flood over there. You're gonna have to bring up the grade. It's a huge issue. Thank you very much.
All right, now we will go to the Zoom participants that we have. So Stacey, I'll let you handle that.
All right, the
Technology.
first person asking is Catherine R. I'm gonna allow you to talk. You should be able to talk, Catherine.
Yes, hi. My name is Catherine Regan. I live at 16 Beach Street. right on the park, now Mills Field. I'm sorry I couldn't make it tonight in person, but I'm at my home currently, and I'm currently listening to the pickleball noises as we speak, actually. So adding more noise is something that is extremely concerning. I grew up in this house pretty much, and my fiance and I decided to come back here with the intentions of starting our family here. And adding much more noise and taking out trees. There's a dozen trees or older or more than that that are old that are right next to this park that we look out on every single day. And the thought of removing those to put in pavement is just the most heartbreaking thing for me. I used to play hide and seek in those trees and just, and play in this park. And it just feels like it's becoming more and more unusable just because there are more and more pickleball players here taking up so many parking spots. They park on the grass, they're loud, they're there from, 5 in the morning till 8:30 at night, constantly. And the proposed pickleball courts are going to be literally in my backyard, not 10 feet away from my house. Hearing this decibel, 100 feet away from the pickleball court is comparable to the highway noises. Well, what is 10 feet away from my house or 15 feet away from my house really going to do? It's really saddening to see this. And I really hope that we consider another option from here, because honestly, if this comes here, my fiance and I really kind of feel like we lose our incentive of staying here and raising our families here. Having this tranquil park removed, and that is also, like others have said, is very much used as it is right now. So it would just be very sad to see it go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine.
So I'm gonna go to the two questions that were written in the Q and As, because they came up first. So the first one was, do these parks have any accommodation facilities for riders with disabilities? That's one we just need to keep in mind for the commission. Other questions are, this may be touched on later, but in planning this sport park, are there considerations for the maneuverability to expand on the first phase of such a project? Would be a shame to have an initial great plan, but inability to expand and re-innovate as time passes. And then lastly, if Claxton is chosen, will pickleball still be allowed at Mills tennis courts? You want to go to one more person or?
Sure, well, let's go to one more person, then we'll go back live.
All right, so Keith LaFace, I'm gonna allow you to talk next. You should be able to talk now, Keith.
Oh, that's great. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, thanks so much. So my name is Keith LaFace. I'm a town meeting member for Precinct E, and I reside at 504 Chestnut Street. I'll be very brief here. I'd like to express my support for the Action Sports Park in a suitable town location. And from what I've seen in the excellent feasibility study, it looks like Claxton Field would be an ideal location for this, combined pump track, skate park, pickleball courts. I think it would really just provide a wonderful variety for residents to enjoy outdoor activities and exercise. And I know that, as a father of 2 children under the age of 13, we are trying always to keep the kids away from screens, and it's nearly impossible, as I get a screen time request from my daughter right now. So I think, anything we can do to, kind of diversify what we have available in town, I think is just, it's something that we really have to hone in on. And I think that the working group has done a great job moving this initiative forward. And I just really hope that, that we can land on a good location and then move forward with the next steps. But really commend the working group for the efforts so far. So we're really excited to see the progress. I've heard from so many of my constituents, neighbors, variety of different ages, and this is really something that we feel like this town deserves. So thank you very much for hearing me.
Thank you, Pete. All right, we'll now go back live. We'll go, actually,
Chair,
Sure.
I just want to remind the folks online that you can either raise your hand and we will go 3 in person, 3 online, back and forth with questions, or if you would prefer to type a question into the question and answer, we will also read those online for the commission.
Perfect, thank you. All right, I'm gonna do Artie Crocker first, and then I'll do gentleman in green shirt up front. And then third time, blue shirt.
Hey, Chris, Nelson.
How are you?
I don't know if I'm able to hear behind me, but I'll speak up.
I don't think it'll be an issue.
Okay, I know I don't normally ask questions, but here's a simple question.
Can you put?
Yeah.
name that-
Oh, sorry, Artie Crocker, 17 Fairland Street, precinct 5. So this is a simple question, then I'll have something else, or I'll have another query in the future. Are you only considering these activities together, or can they be separate? I didn't guess that earlier.
I think we're looking at both as a matter of fact, because I mean, once we decide an area of what we can do, yes, I think we want to go with the big picture. But if we need to kind of condense it depending on what we can do, is what we're gonna look at all options. Ideally, if we do a project, we want to do everything we can at once, because if you're gonna start digging up areas for putting things together, it's easier to do a project at once than to do 3 or 4 separate projects. But I do understand that sometimes you do need to break it up because cost comes into effect. So it really depends on what the final concept will be and where that concept goes.
Okay, thank you, Chris. The other thing is to, to follow up on some of these comments. When I live on Fairland Street behind the high school, I sort of know where the other areas are. I honestly don't see cricket field as being an area where this is. I certainly, I don't see pickleball being there at all. I honestly don't know about the skate park, whether it worked there or not. I don't know the decibel levels. I don't know about that part, but I don't see pickleball working there at all.
I'll ask that quickly, if you don't mind, that when we do the feasibility study, we want to pick as many places as we can. Then we know some places it's just not gonna work, so it's just, we have to look to see if it can be done, and it's more big.
Thank you, Chris. And I should have started off by saying, I appreciate all your work you're doing. I know what it takes to do all this work, so thank you very much. I also know that you have to throw everything out there and weed it down, but some people like stuff weeded down as quick as possible. So the other thing is, so then on Mills Field, I do not see, even though I know there's some, I went with someone online saying, can we still like pickleball where we were? I don't see pickleball meshing up with tennis courts at all. I just don't see those noises interacting very well at all, none whatsoever. So I don't see pickleball there. And again, I don't know about the skate park part of it. I don't know if that would be acceptable, if that would work. I'm not sure about that part of it. I certainly see Clarkson Field as a great option. I don't love giving up the spot that used to be a playground. I know it's taken down because debris coming up from the ground. I understand that, but at one point we thought it was going to be coming back as a playground. So, but then again, you know, we have to put priorities where they are. So I don't know about that part. I love the idea of a skate park in the quarry area. I love that. That has so many wonderful things that you can do about it. So I see that as a great option. And where the playground was for pickleball, I don't know right now. I do not see pickleball in any of those other 2 locations at all. They're great neighborhoods, and I'd like to keep them, but it's kind of a reduced noise as possible. And I don't think pickleball fits that category. Good, thanks.
Thank you, Art. Next up. No problem.
Hi, my name is Josh Conlon, 22 Oakers. I've been before Parks and Rec before, Northern City Park, and very much appreciate the work that you guys have done. And the amount you guys have listened to people around this thing. I personally think Claxton is a wonderful location with all the construction that has been done there. The resurfacing of the field, the expansion of recreational capabilities with the inclusion of pickleball, with the inclusion of the skate park, pump track. The town is moving forward to create a place where you can have teens, high schoolers, middle schoolers playing ball while somebody else is playing pickleball, and for the kids, the people who have families where kids are playing ball and the other kids don't play an organized sport. This park is right there. A couple of the objections I've heard to the park, to the Claxton site are distance from residential areas. I've spent a huge amount of my life, both recreational and professionally, in skate parks. These are very rarely in highly residential areas, not because of the noise, because of the traffic.
The noise of a skate park, a concrete skate park, is estimated to be between 65 and 70 decibels, which is about the volume of tennis or a baseball hitting a bat. I have no knowledge of pickleball volumes, but I know the skate park is generally the noise that you and I hear from somebody skating down a sidewalk or skating on a street with a skateboard is significantly louder than what you're gonna hear at a skate park on a smooth concrete surface. I saw somebody popped up a question about disability and ADA. I have been in a half pipe with somebody in a wheelchair before. These things are used by pretty much anybody who can figure out how to roll. There is very little limitation for usage like that. Sorry. And this is nothing against CHA, the architect firm. One thing that I would like to request the board is do a very big diligence on who does the design. And to make sure that you use a design firm that has done this before. American Skate Parks is a very well-known skate park design firm. Pilar Studios is one that has already provided Park and Rec quote and has done the park in Framingham as well as the new one in Waltham. And Spawn Ranch is one of the, I think, from Stadium, one of the best skate park designers in the country. They do a wonderful job. I'm not sure what they've done exactly local here. I know they've done projects out here. I know that Spawn and Pilar have actually looked at the 3 sites and they have all said that Cricket is probably the best.
Cricket.
Sorry, not Cricket, I'm sorry. Black is probably the best considering the various pressures from town residents and capabilities. So I have to say thank you for all the effort you guys went through to get this.
Thank you. Gentlemen. If you don't mind, unfortunately, do we have other questions popping up live or not?
We have 2.
Okay, perfect. So we'll try it here and then we'll go live.
Out here. My name is Carl Floydcraft. My address in Needham is 80 Grand Street. Although I don't actually live in Needham anymore, I've moved to Germany since, but I do vote in Needham, which is fun because Americans vote from abroad. I just wanted to say that I just really want to support the pump track proposal. I'm a Needham High School grad from '06, and we actually started the first ever high school longboard club in the back then. And if you are not familiar with what a pump track is, it is extremely low impact, very low noise. And one of the most exciting things about it is that if you're there, you'll see 80 grandkids from about 3 to 65. Like you've got people on bikes, skateboards, anything in between. And it's a very sort of, everyone's taking their turn going around, and it can be as athletic as you want it to be, or as exciting. And you've got little kids, you've got adults, you've got, you know, skateboarders. So it's not like a skate park in the, like, is in the way that you might think of like people like just like hanging out on a half pipe that's only gonna be used by like extreme sport type people. It's a really fun, athletic thing. There's a brand new one that just opened up in Cumberland, Rhode Island that I was just skating on. It's fantastic. If you want to go take a look at it, it's actually half an hour away. Really, really great. It's such a great vibe. People are so friendly, and it just builds a great piece of community. These things are popping up everywhere. I've been on pump tracks in Germany, France, in all parts of the US, and I think it would be really a crown here and something that would be really cool to sort of say, hey, we've got this here. So that's just my 2 cents. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Hold on. 2 quick comments. We're gonna go to our Zoom questions. And I am at fault of this that I forgot to say is that we do have a regularly scheduled Park and Rec meeting at 7 o'clock. That will keep the discussion going as long as we can, but in due respect, we do have another meeting scheduled after this. That if any questions do not get answered tonight, please email the Park and Rec department with your questions and we will get back to you with answers. But we will go to the 2 questions we have on Zoom, then we'll come back live.
All right, Greg Curtis, you're up.
Hi, I'm Greg Curtis and I reside at 48 Lantern Lane. Thank you so much for all the hard work by the Needham Action Sports Park Committee. I agree with all of Keith LaFace's comments, and I would love to see the sports park move forward at Claxton Field. Besides the many pros that were listed during the presentation, Claxton Field abuts Needham Town Forest, which has several miles of single track and fire roads. So a pump track would be a tremendous complement to the forest. I'm hearing a lot of opposition to the pickleball courts due to the noise level, so I'm hoping that the plan can move forward. And this isn't an all or nothing with that. And lastly, Velo Solutions builds exceptional pump tracks. I think the last commenter just said that. And they just built the Alston and the Cumberland Park pump track, so you should check them out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, Erin, you're up next. Hopefully there's only one Erin.
Yeah, hi. Erin's actually my mom. I'm Romy. I'm 11 and hi. Yeah, I skateboard. And I'm still kind of learning, but I really like it. And it's kind of hard to skateboard because I usually go on the sidewalks and like in parking lots. That's not like super safe because sometimes the sidewalks are bumpy. And I think it would be a really good idea to add a skate park because it's like it makes it more accessible to people who want to try a new sport. And it sounds like a pump track looks really fun too. So I think that would be great. Thank you.
Wow. Gentleman with the black hat, raise his hand. Yes, please. You're doing very good.
My name is Dave Gallant, and I live at 27 Beach Street. I just wanted to start with the gentleman from Germany. I don't even know what to say to him. You know, he lived in Eden before, but that's history. Thing is I don't want to be that silly with all the questions, and I can see exactly what you're talking about. But when you mentioned that you don't want to hear the same questions, oh, no, well, we don't want to hear pickleball, no, I go all the porch at 7:30 with a cup of coffee, which I've been doing for a while. And gradually, as everybody says, you can't, it's so quiet and noisy, very crazy. So Claxton is where it should go, in my opinion, no residential people. And that's it. If you go to Claxton, you can't do it to Cricket Field or Mills. Very interesting. So, thank you.
Gentleman in the back row with the blue shirt and hat. Would you mind coming up where you?
One question.
Sure. Will you speak up so everybody can hear?
Sure. So are you guys aware that they use the existing tennis courts at Mills Field for pickleball?
Yeah.
Yes, you're aware of that?
Very aware.
Yeah. Well, the question, are they gonna keep that, or these new pickleball courts will be in addition to that? And have you done any traffic and parking stuff?
That would be part of the design phase that if and this is just a preliminary guess, that if we do put the said pickleball course over at Claxton, that would be the pickleball complex. Mills would then revert back to his, it honestly does need to be resurfaced. It needs great touch up, it needs to be redone. We would probably generally keep those as tennis because you're gonna have bigger courts or bigger complex, if I can work that way at Claxton, we can keep it there. Again, preliminary, question that, to ask.
The reason I ask is, I live about a couple hours feet from those courts. And like someone pointed out before, those parking spaces are packed from 6 AM to just about. And especially if there's baseball going on, that road is packed on both sides. And that's kind of safety hazard right there. Now you're gonna add more. That's really easy. Take that every.
Thank you. Gentlemen, and then a woman in the back in the white shirt, and then the gentleman, different blue shirt, sorry. We'll say it's. You guys should call it coordinate yourselves, come on.
I'm Peter's next door neighbor, so I'm next closer to the pickleball. And it is insane to think of putting this project in our neighborhood.
Can you please state your name and address for the record?
David Midland, 74 Hampton Avenue.
Thank you.
And Claxton Field is a marvelous location for this project. When my kids were little, we used to go and launch rockets across Central Avenue into the dump. It's wide open, and there's so much that can be done there. And as my neighbor said, and I don't want to repeat everything, he said so beautifully, Mills Field is a gem. I love waking up to the sound of baseball bats. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning on the weekend, not at 5 or 6 o'clock, the way we hear the pickleball courts, which are already a nice front yard in Petersburg. It's just not appropriate for that neighborhood. We're at the end where we're right at the intersection of Hampton Avenue and Elm Street. There's a stop sign there that might as well not even be there. I mean, I can back out of my driveway in the morning and in my rear view mirror, see people pull the stop sign and come around my car past me, and it's a cut through street already. It's just, it's a beautiful little neighborhood. It's becoming more and more of a family neighborhood. And it's just not the place for something at this scope. And then when you mention lights and expanding the number of people, and expanding the hours, that's just nuts. It just doesn't belong. We already have enough.
Thank you very much. Gentleman in the blue shirt and then the woman in the white in the back, and then I'm gonna go and finish up with the people on live on Zoom, so.
Okay, my name is Ken Weiss. I live at 14 Arnold Street. Not exactly on the beach, but a couple blocks away from Mills Field. People have already spoken about a lot of things. I walk my daughter's dog around there a whole lot. We've raised our family in that neighborhood. Since the adoption of pickleball, it's changed what's happened at the tennis courts. There's always been baseball. Whenever there's baseball games, there's lots of cars. It's busy. Nowadays, with all the people that are parking on the grass to get in at the pickleball, it's a little dangerous walking the dog in the neighborhood. Okay, that's what's saying. We've also been through a July that was as hot as anybody could get out. Those trees and that shady area at Mills that you're talking about taking down was a real respite for a lot of people that walk dogs, as well as a lot of people that needed to get out of the house if it wasn't air conditioned and be able to have a shady place to go. And I'm not sure, other than the town forest, where exactly you're going in town. I don't think it's a great idea to knock down a lot of trees to put in more things. What's the name?
No,
No, that'd be her.
no, that's her.
Sorry.
Sorry, first.
Hi, my name is Kristen Freeze. I live at 54 Hampton Ave, and we are directly across from what you call abandoned tennis, well, basketball court, which they're not abandoned, they just haven't been taken care of. So that park has been sorely neglected to a lot of points from landscaping on down. But I have lived there for over 20 years and raised my family. And to see what's happening with the traffic situation, we had to put rocks in front of our sidewalk so people would stop driving on the sidewalk, because I have a huge hole in my sidewalk now. But it's just, there's no parking, and you're not taking into account of all of us that live there. My neighbor has PTSD. He's been through a war. He hates going outside because he has to hear pickleball. And it's very awful to think that that would happen to someone, but it does. I have health concerns, a lot of my neighbors do. And to have to deal with the added stress of lights coming through and having trees taken down and more noise and no sleep because, and I pointed this out, you can tell me that there's an ordinance that says they can't start at 7:30 in the morning to pickleball. I'm sorry, it's been pointed out to me on the sign, on the fence, daylight hours. Okay, daylight hours. So does that mean we have to get set up at 5:15 in the morning? That's not fair. I want to be doing, I'm nice, I say it, hi to everyone. But I just think that if we're looking at a place where expansion is possible and where you can fit parking, ADA, you're looking at more Claxton. That's the spot to be where there aren't neighbors around. And it's not interfering with their lifestyle or the people who do partial remote, partial work in an office. We have enough traffic. We bought the houses, we knew we lived at the edge of a business zone. But now you're also looking at Muzzy. Muzzy, that area at Muzzy, I'm told is gonna be 55 plus affordable housing. They're giving back 2.5 acres of green space. We should have looked into buying it when it was 16 million and it was offered to them. That would have been a great big thing. But the other thing is to keep in mind, who are you attracting? Are you really attracting all of the community? Or who are these pickleball players? Out of towners, a lot of people. But a lot of
All right, let's give it respect, thank you.
President, but I'm saying the people that are playing pickleball, I've seen the stickers on the back of the card. So I'm telling you, they're not all from Needham. And it's fine, but. Right. That's all I'm saying, is take into account noise. You know, if you want to replace all my windows, re-insulate my house, or even buy it for $1.5 million,
Thank you very much. All right, we will go to the final questions that we have on Zoom. Anyone that would like to have a comment that is here live, you're more than welcome to email the Park and Rec Department, but just out of sake of time, we will finish up the public meeting with the last 2 questions or comments on Zoom.
One of them was Greg, who already talked, so thank you.
Here.
That will be. And Asa, I know you had your hand up. Do you still have a question or comment?
Yeah, I just had a quick clarifying comment. Somebody mentioned Velo Solutions earlier, and I just wanted to mention that American Ram Company is Velo Solutions. So Velo Solutions is based out of Europe, and we are their sole North American partners. So any work that Velo does in North America is by us. We have designers and builders for Velo Solutions. So just a quick clarifying comment.
Thanks, Asa.
Thank you. All right, listen, we really do appreciate everyone tonight, that it was great to hear from the public, and this is why we do meetings like this. That we want to hear from everybody, that yes, could we talk till midnight tonight about this? Sure could, but this is something that we want to hear from the public, and again. I'm sorry, what? I will have Miss Lisa Rose recognized, and that will be the final comment of the night.
Hi, everyone, Lisa Rose, 19 for an Avenue.
Yeah, I don't have a great deal to say. The good news is, I think that the neighbors at Mills, Josh and the skate park people, and most of the pickleball community all have a unanimous preference for Claxton. In addition to the noise issue that Mills, which has been made abundantly clear, there's not enough room either. That can get fixed, which is insufficient. We have 8 courts now and we're overflowing. So short and sweet, because we're over time, we are strongly in favor of Claxton. And if we could just, pickleball, could you raise your hand just to show how many of us are here? You keep it up if you're here for Claxton.
All right. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. We really do appreciate it. As I mentioned before, any other comments or questions that were not answered tonight, please email the Park and Rec Department and we will get back to you. Thank you all. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.